Albert Fairfax here, here to take some time out of my precious commercial allotment to tell you some good news. We all hear that story of the young strapping young man who was rejected by the woman or girl of his desires at a younger age. For whatever shallow reason, like, oh, Albert, you're a toxic person. But later on in life, you're vindicated. It could be the classic story of, the smart nerd, being rejected and later on founding Facebook, and then he gets to really stick it to that girl in the trailer park. However the story goes, whether you read it on, Our Justice Served or Our Pussy Pass Denied. So here's my story I just found out today. So Sherilyn, who denied me her hand to prom, she, instead went with, the jocks. It rejected me. And well, boy, did she regret it. She went on to, go to college, and she, went to grad school, and then she became a VP, and she had a family, But guess what happened this weekend? That's right. She went up to Lake Tahoe. She was skiing with her family, and wouldn't you know it, a freak avalanche, commonly known by the experts as a flavalanche, took her out. Completely took her out without warning. She's dead. And you see, that this wouldn't have happened if she'd been with me, because I wouldn't have allowed a woman to take such a dangerous physical activity such as skiing, an activity that's usually reserved for men, men who are willing to take those risks. I personally don't ski because my brain has much more value to humanity, and it's not worth it to take that risk. I could if I wanted to, but I decided not to ski for the better of humanity. But that's beside the point. So Sherilyn, good, great job in picking the right guys. Maybe you'd be alive today. You could say that really, I was the flavalanche that killed her. Not like I killed her, but her rejection of me was the flavalanche, wasn't it? So a little food for thought. Just wanted to put it out there. Lift some hearts out there. So let's get the show on the road, hey? Albert Fairfax, Albert Fairfax, It's me, Albert Fairfax, the conservative icon, Albert Fairfax, Welcome to the Albert Fairfax Show. I'm your host, Albert Fairfax. Folks, welcome back to the show. As you may have known, as many people noticed, thousands of people noticed, I was on hiatus for 1 week. You got to recharge your batteries, especially with all this controversy, surrounding my family and the Lieutenant Governor of Virginia, Justin Fairfax, and allegations that have been made against me now, false allegations, or at best, tenuous allegations. But the thing is, when you are confronted with these lying harlots, the best thing that you can do is stay on track. Stay focused in your work. You gotta bury yourself into your work. So today I'm gonna bring up a segment, the Green New Deal brought about by AOC. I could make a billion episodes about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but today we're gonna talk about the myth of climate change, with her Green New Deal. And I think it's time that we strike down these multiple myths of climate change. Okay, so we're going to go one by one. And by the end of this episode, you're going to be fully convinced, in case you haven't already, that climate change is a hoax that you really shouldn't be losing sleep over. Because that's what the left does. The climate change is a Trojan horse for socialism. And today, we're going to debunk that. When I say debunk, we're going to debunk that climate change is real. That Climate change is still used as a Trojan horse. That part is real. It's a Trojan horse for socialism. That we're not debunking that because there's nothing to debunk. It's real. That just you get it. Myth number 1: climate change is real. Correction here. Climate change is not real. Back in the 1970s, scientists, so-called scientists, but really they were in the soft science of physics and chemistry, thought that there was going to be an ice age. Can you believe it? Yeah, there's multiple hundreds, thousands of documents. I'm not going to post it here because you pay by the word on the YouTube description. You don't, but I'm not going to post the sources. The scientists. How can we trust the same scientists that thought there was going to be an ice age in the 1970s? And they became global warming, and now they call it climate change. Yeah. Pick a track, fucko. Myth number 2: climate change is caused by humans. Okay, listen. Climate change is a naturally occurring phenomenon. Okay, it goes, the temperature goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. You go back to the time of the dinosaurs. It was hotter than a sauna at my local club. Real hot, lots of carbon in the atmosphere. The dinosaurs did just fine during that time. There's a volcano. The volcano in Italy that went off. I don't know where it was. It exploded, and it spewed more toxins, more carbon into the atmosphere than all of human emissions throughout history. I'd post the source, but once again, hey, yeah, the information speaks for itself. You don't even have to look. You can just trust me. Okay. Myth number 2, busted. It's climate change is a naturally occurring phenomenon. It is not man-made. Okay. Honestly, I think it's kind of arrogant to think that humans, have some sort of control over the climate like this. Myth number 3: climate change caused by humans is bad. Okay, so fine. Climate change, humans cause a little bit of climate change. It causes the temperature to go up and down. It causes the temperature to go up. They burn fossil fuels. Whatever. It happens. And this idea that climate change is bad. Honestly, you look at all these cold places in Russia and Canada, barren wastelands. Now they're going to be tropical zones with nice farmland, and climate. The point is, climate change is actually good for humanity. So maybe we should let human climate change run its course. More land to be farmed, more land to be lived in. Honestly, and the raising sea levels. Okay, so that means new places to live right next to the beach. No longer is that Central Valley house worth only $200,000-$300,000. Maybe it's worth $1 million in 20 years because the Central Valley Basin gets flooded with seawater and becomes the new Mediterranean of the West Coast. Revitalizes California's economy. Ben Shapiro brought up a good point. If your house is about to be submerged, just sell your house, and then move somewhere else. That's, how the free market works, doesn't it? But the leftists, they're so single-minded. They're so ignorant. They have these blinders on, because they don't see the possibilities. They don't see the opportunities that climate change caused by humans presents. Okay, next myth. Climate change is bad and it's caused by the West. Okay, sure, climate change is bad. And sure, it's going to cause desertification. And sure, it's going to cause crop yields to fall, cause water scarcity. But really, it's not the West that's at fault here. Okay, leftists will like to trot out, per capita statistics like they always do. You should measure per person instead of the whole population. Fucko. You know what? How about you back off? Okay, really, the West isn't at fault here. It's the Asians. Okay, let's just, I'm going to put it out there. It's the Chinese and the Indians. They're the ones causing the vast majority of the climate change. Why should I have to change my habits? Just so some Chinese person can make up the difference. Okay, so sure, climate change is bad. caused by humans, climate change caused by humans is bad. But really, should I have to pay for the mistakes of the Asians? Okay, next one. There's something we can do about the coming climate catastrophe. Okay, sorry. I think it's kind of arrogant to assume that humanity has enough power to reverse course of human-caused climate change, okay? There's nothing that we can really do to prevent societal collapse, okay? So how about, you stop trying to, tax me more and use this Trojan horse to bring socialism. All right, we're blowing through these myths because they are all, debunked. Next myth. Societal collapse caused by climate change is a bad thing. Okay, see, the thing is, sure, society collapses as the human habitat is destroyed, as people die off, and as society and government collapses, and as our civilizations crumble into the dust. Sure, that happens. But really what this is an opportunity. It's, opportunity for those with the entrepreneurial spirit to rebuild society. Much like some of my ancestors who came into collapsed Roman Britain and created, through their entrepreneurial spirits, the first kingdoms and the first lordships of England. I think that's something to think about. We could rebuild society free of cultural Marxism, free of leftist lunacy. Imagine, if you will, I've talked about this before, but imagine a world dotted by Fairfax survival domes, each a self-contained society, with a strict hierarchy, and everyone knows their place. A true conservative/anarcho-monarchist vision of how society could be without the influence of leftism. I'm of the opinion that society is now infected with leftism, and the only way to get rid of it is to purge it from our system, even if it means bloodletting. I mean, the great wise men of ancient times, they bleed themselves with leeches to get rid of the bad blood, I mean, it's no wonder they don't do it anymore today, considering leftists in medical academia, they don't like anything that's proven and old. They always want to do something new, I digress. And if that means that we lose a majority of humanity, maybe you should think about the future. Find a way to make it through the collapse. So that way you're in a good position to take advantage of those opportunities. Because that's what entrepreneurship is about. It doesn't matter what you're faced with. There's always gains to be made. Well, that's about it for this show for today. I'll see you next week on schedule, as always. Thank you. Have a good night.
Albert Fairfax, Albert Fair, Albert Fair, Albert Fair, Albert Fair.